Good evening, everyone. Hope all of you are doing well in your studies. So today we'll start the lecture on history of entomology. So before going to the history of entomology, you should know what is entomology and from which words this entomology term is derived. Okay. So I'll tell you one thing. When logi or logos is there, that is derived from the Greek word. How you can remember? Here in logi, G is there. In logos also G is there. So it is derived from the G, that is Greek word. Okay. Similarly, here also entomology, here logi, that means G is there. Derived from the two Greek words. One is entomon, that is insect, and logia, that means knowledge. Arthropoda, it is derived from the two Greek words. One is arthro, that is jointed, and pod means foot. So insect has jointed legs or jointed foot. That means different joints are there. One is because there is a joint between two different parts. That is one is coxa, trochanter, and whatever the other thing. Okay. And third is insect. You have to remember insect. T is there. Latin. T is there. So insect is derived from the Latin word. So insect is derived from the Latin word. So insectum means animal with a notched or divided body. You know, insect has a divided body, and it is divided into three parts. One is the head, another is thorax, another is abdomen. So insect has a notched or divided body. That's why it's called as insect. Then who is the father of entomology? You can tell William Kirby. I have posted here this picture of William Kirby. So he can be considered as also British entomology or modern entomology or applied entomology. Okay. But if the question will be asked as who is the father of Indian entomology, then you can tell Hemsing Pruthi. Okay. H.S. Pruthi. Okay. Then who is the father of forensic entomology? Magnin. So here the picture of Magnin. Okay. So here I have given some of the important years and acts of the entomology. So simply you have to remember, nothing to understand. So and whatever the important points I will tell you, you just make it point out, and you have to just remember, and you have to go through it again and again. Okay. So origin of man, that is 1 million years ago. Origin of insect 350 to 500 million years ago. This is very important. Then insect 72% of all living animals. That is total number of species in insect is till now is 19 to 9 to 15 lakhs. Entomology started in India in the year 1900 to 1950. This is also very important. And different quarantine acts are very important. So many questions are coming from this quarantine act, so you have to remember. So first, the first plant quarantine act in 1912. Then DIPA, that is destructive insect pest act in 1914. Okay. Then what? Domestic quarantine act, that is where? 1971. Then Madras Agricultural Pest and Disease Act 1919. So these four quarantine acts you have to remember. So many questions are coming from these quarantine acts. Okay. So what is the first quarantine act in 1912? DIPA in 1914, Domestic Quarantine Act in 1971, and Madras Agricultural Pest and Disease Act in 1919. Okay. So you have to remember these things. And as you know, before also Central Insecticidal Act 1968 and Central Insecticidal Rule 1971 and Pesticide Management Bill 2008. These three you have to remember properly. Okay. But another thing I will tell you, nowadays they are asking the particular date of insecticidal came into force. When insecticidal came into force, that is 1st January 1971. They can confuse you by putting 3rd March or 4th April or any other date. And if you don't remember this 1st January proper date, then you will be confused, and then that question will be wrong for you. Okay. And then National Food Safety and Standard Act 2006, Prevention of Food Adulteration Act 1954, then Food Quality Protection Act FQPA, that is 1996, then Federal Environmental Pesticide Control Act, that is FEPCA, that is 1972. So you have to remember these things only. So here the history of NBAIR. So As you know, the full form of NBIR, that is National Bureau of Agricultural Insect Resources, and this is situated in Bangalore, Karnataka. Okay, so many histories you have to remember for this NBIR. So I will make you a sequence and you just go through this sequence. Okay, first it was AICRP on biological control of crop pest and weeds. Second, it became PDBC, that is Project Director of Biological Control. Then it was changed to NBAII, and finally it is NBAIR. So this was first 1977, then 1993, then 11th 5-year plan, then 12th 5-year plan. Okay, so what are the institutes are connected with this NBIR, or what are the different names of this NBIR before? One is AICRP on the biological control of crop pest and weeds, that was established in 1977. Second is Project Directorate of Biological Control, that is 1993. Then NBAI, that is National Bureau of Agricultural Input and Insect. Then NBAIR, that is National Bureau of Agricultural Insect Resources. Okay, if they will ask when the NBAIR was established, then you can tell 1993. 1993, because this PDBC is considered as the NBAIR. PDBC, okay, not AICRP, not AICRP. AICRP is different. AICRP is somewhat project, but NB, that is PDBC, is a institute. So this NBAIR was established in 1993. If question will be asked when the NBAIR was established, then you can write 1993, not 1977. Okay. These are some of the ancient books of entomology. So first edition of Systema Naturae 1735, 10th edition of Systema Naturae 1758, and these are written by Carlos Linnaeus, you know. Okay, and 10th edition of Systema Naturae. This is very important. How many insects were described in the 10th edition of Systema Naturae? That is 28. And another thing you have to remember, on which edition of Systema Naturae first insects were described? That is 10th edition, and it was in the year 1758. This year also you have to remember. Okay, and account of lac insect, that is Dr. Care. As you know, the scientific name of the that is lac insect is Laccifer Care, and it was renamed. It was named before the name of this Dr. Care. So the account of lac insect was written by this Dr. Care, and monograph on the coccinelle insect was written by Dr. Anderson, and a catalog of Lepidoptera insect in the Museum of the East India Company was maintained by Dr. Horsfield, and the book on cultivation of lac and sericulture in India by Bachnan. Okay, so these scientists you have to remember. So these are some of the eminent scientists. They have contributed so many things in the field of entomology in India. So I will describe all the things about the contribution of these eminent scientists, and you have to remember all the things. Okay. So first is Maxwell Lefroy, then Lionel D. Snivell, then Jesse Fabricius, T.B. Fletcher, H.S. Pruthi, Afzal Hussain, T.B. Ramakrishnan Iyer, T.N. Anant Krishnan, M.S. Mani, and S. Pradhan. Okay, so many questions are coming from this contribution of different scientists in India. So I'll tell you one by one. So in this slide I am marking the some important points, so you just make it point out, and you just remember it. Okay, so this is very important, the classification of ants, flies and mosquitoes by Sushruta. So many people are ignoring these questions, but this is very important. Who classifies the ants, flies and mosquitoes in India? That is by Sushruta. Okay, then first entomologist who worked extensively in Indian insect, that is Joseph Fabricius. So you can tell the first entomologist who worked in Indian insect, that is Joseph Fabricius, and he has classified the insects into 13 orders on the basis of mouth parts. On the basis of what? On the basis of mouth parts. Okay. The collector of insects from the Coromandel and southern peninsula in India, that is by Koenig, and red cotton bug was named after his name, that is Dysderchus koenigi. and an epitome of natural history of insects and of India and the islands of the Indian seas by the Dinovan and Westwood. Just you have to remember. And this is very important questions. Commencement of fauna of British India, that is by Blandford, and the entomological part of the fauna of British India. So first 4 volumes was written by George Hampson. So if the fauna of British India, who wrote the first fauna of British India? By Blandford. But the entomological part of the fauna of British India was introduced by Hampson. Okay, you have to remember these two scientists. Okay, and another thing you have to remember: first biological control, first biological pest control. What do you mean by biological pest control? That means one living thing is controlling another living thing. Okay, so here what they have noticed, what the Rothny noticed, actually some of the stationary items was deteriorated by white ants. As you know, white ants means termites. So these termites or white ants were deteriorating these stationary parts. So for controlling these white ants, this Rothny released some red ants, and these red ants successfully managed these white ants or successfully control the white ants. So this is called as the first biological pest control, and that is done by scientist Rothny. So you have to remember who is Rothny. Rothny is the first reporter of biological pest control by releasing the red ants and the white ants, those who are deteriorating the stationary items. Okay. Then these are some of the contributors in the field of entomology. So who is the I am telling you here two things you have to remember. One is the first entomologist, and in the second is the second entomologist. Okay, first entomologist in India, who is the first entomologist in India, and who is the first entomologist in Madras? Who is the second entomologist in India? Who is the second entomologist in the Madras? Okay, you have to remember these things. So first, the first entomologist to the government of India is the Lionel D. Niceville, but the first entomologist to the Madras state is T.B. Fletcher. So first, in case of India, by Niceville; in case of Madras, by Fletcher. Second, in case of India, who? Lefroy. Who? Lefroy. In case of Madras state, H.S. Pruthi. Okay. So you have to here also I have written the second entomologist in the government of India, Maxwell Lefroy, but second government entomologist for the Madras state was the Hemsing Pruthi. Okay. So as you know, IRI was Indian Agricultural Research Institute. That was named before what? Empirical Agricultural Research Institute. If question will arise, who is the first entomologist in Empirical Agricultural Research Institute? That is Maxwell Lefroy. Okay, Maxwell Lefroy. That is who is this? Who was the second entomologist in the government of India? Okay, and first empirical forest entomologist E.P. Stebbing. Okay, empirical forest entomologist means what is the forest institute? That is Forest Research Institute, that is established in 1916, and it was situated in Dehradun, Uttarakhand. So this E.P. Stebbing was the first entomologist in FRI Dehradun. Okay, the first president of Entomological Society of India. I will tell you the story about this thing. Okay, one scientist was Hemsing Pruthi. One scientist was Hemsing Pruthi. Okay, Hemsing Pruthi, he founded the Entomological Society of India. Okay, Hemsing Pruthi founded the Entomological Society of India, but he gave the charge to Afzal Hussain. He gave the charge to Afzal Hussain for the president. Okay, the question will be asked, who is the first president of Entomological Society of India? That is Afzal Hussain, but he didn't found this Entomological Society of India. Who found the Entomological Society of India? Hemsing Pruthi founded the Entomological Society of India, and he became the first vice president of the Entomological Society of India. Okay, Hemsing Pruthi was the first vice president of Entomological Society of India. And another thing, he was the first plant protection advisor to the government of India. Hemsing Pruthi was the first plant protection advisor to the government of India. Authority of Thysanum terra. If one question will arise, who is the authority of thrips in India? Who is the authority of thrips? or Thysanoptera, that is T.N. Anantha Krishnan. Okay, you have to remember this thing. Here also I have depicted some of the important books in of the entomology. So just I will go through these things. Nothing is important here, but you have to remember for the exam point of view, very important. But I will just go through. You just remember, okay? So Indian insect pest, that is Maxwell Lefroy. Indian insect life, that is Maxwell Lefroy. These two books are very important. And textbook of agricultural entomology, Hemsing Pruthi. Another important book is some South Indian insect, that is T.B. Fletcher. General Entomology by M.S. Mani. General and Applied Entomology by Anant Krishnan and Basandraj David. I have told you in the JRF book list, that is Elements of Economic Entomology, that was written by Basandraj David and V.V. Ramamurthy. Okay. And book that is named as Tropical Forest Insect Pest Ecology, Impact and Management by S.S. Nair. And monograph on the desert locust in India by Y. Ramachandra Rao, and monograph on the Indian Thysanoptera, T.N. Anantha Krishnan. I have told you who is the authority of thrips or Thysanoptera in India. He is the T.N. Anantha Krishnan. Okay. I am remembering you one thing again. Who is H.S. Pruthi? He is the founder of Entomological Society of India. Second, is the first vice president of Entomological Society of India. He is the first plant protection advisor to the government of India. Plant protection advisor. Where is who is the plant protection advisor? That means that is the head of the DPPQS. He is the head of the plant protection. That is the head of the plant. DPPQS is the plant protection advisor. Okay. So he was the first HS Pruthi. Okay. And here another eminent scientist as the S Pradhan. So these are the contributors of S Pradhan, that is pesticide umbrella, hermetic storage of control of Trogoderma granarium. I'll tell you these things in detail in the storage pest. Okay, that is Khapra beetle. For the humidity control and temperature control, they have managed in a hermetic storage. I will tell you later, no problem. And this Pusa bean and biotic theory and periodic theory of locust cycle. This is very important. Two important concepts are there. One is phase theory of locust. One is phase theory of locust. Another is biotic theory or periodicity of locust. Okay. So phase theory was given by Uvarov, but biotic theory was given by S. Pradhan. Don't be confused between these concepts. Nowadays they are asking questions. They may be confused. Who wrote the biotic theory of locust? Locust means you will be fully blind and you will write, okay, locust means that Uvarov will come, will take the Uvarov, but that is totally wrong. You have to see carefully what theory is there, biotic theory or phase theory. The phase theory is there, then you have to write Uvarov. The biotic theory or periodic theory is there, then you have to write S. Pradhan. Okay. Then these are the societies and institutes. So locust warning organization in Jodhpur 1939. Plant Protection Directorate, there are 14 centers in 1957. DPPQS, that is Faridabad in 1946. Okay. Directorate of Plant Protection and Quarantine and Storage in 1946. Asiatic Society of Bengal in Calcutta in 1785. Entomological Society of India 1938. It was founded by H.S. Pruthi. Okay. Official publication of Entomological Society of India, that is, what is the Journal of ESI, Entomological Society of India, that is Indian Journal of Entomology. Okay. Then Zoological Survey of India 1916. Indian Lak Research Institute Namkun, that is 1925 in Jharkhand. Okay. Then Zoological Survey of India Kolkata 1916. Then NPPTI, that is National Plant Protection Training Institute. This is very important. So many people are ignoring this question. You just remember, okay? NCIPM, as you know, in New Delhi, National Center for the Integrated Pest Management, 1988. NBAR, Bangalore, I have told you 1993, not 1977. 1977 is the AICRP in the biological control of weeds and pests, okay? Then ICZN, International Commission on Zoological Nomenclature, 1895. Then Empirical Forest Research Institute, 1916. I have told you EP Stebbing. Remember, EP Stebbing. Here he was the first entomologist in FRI Dehradun, which was established in the year 1916. Then Bombay Natural History Society, that is 1883, and Indian Museum found was in Calcutta in 1875. All the years you can remember by practicing again and again. Okay. So by this, I will conclude all the things. If any doubt will come, you can WhatsApp me or you can put the message in the group also. Okay, by this, thank you so much. Okay, I will conclude this here.